Memories filling my mind and I can't seem to push him back. These times ingrained my mind and I just can't let it go. How did I lose the way through the things that really matter? This complication spin my mind, but I know I gotta keep pushing through. Yeah, I keep doing my own thing. Yeah, never looking back again. I can get it, I can make it, yeah, I know it, and I'm never looking back again. Yeah, never looking back again. I can get it, I can make it, yeah, I know it, and I'm never looking back again. Memories filling up my mind and I can't seem to push it back. These times ingrained my mind and I just can't let it go. How did I lose the way through the things that really matter? This complication spin my mind, but I know I gotta keep pushing through. Yeah, I keep doing my own thing. Yeah, never looking back again. I can get it, I can make it, yeah, I know it, and I'm never looking back again. Yeah, never looking back again. I can get it, I can make it, yeah, I know it, and I'm never looking back again.
I don't know if I'm an icon. I think becoming an icon is definitely no easy feat. You know, you have to go earn it and you have to prove yourself. And then over time, like we see with this 1926 watch to the 2020 Oyster, you see the evolution and everything that's gone into it, and you achieve excellence time and time again. And then over time, you actually even become better than at the very beginning because of your experience potentially. Watches have definitely increased in size. I can tell you that we see that all. The watches at the time, especially the wrist watches, were always meant to be smaller. Now we like them much bigger. Maybe our eyesight is worse, I don't know. But I think people still know what an icon is, and Rolex is definitely one of them.
Yo, Original OC with you on the Original OC channel. Monday afternoon. It is the 16th of December, 2024. Welcome to the broadcast. We will be discussing a new release from, do I pronounce it in French or do I pronounce it in English? Simon Brette. And in French, it's Simon Brette. Simone. Should we call him Simon or Simone? Simon Brette. But Simon Brette has released a new timepiece, a variation of the watch that he introduced in 2023, and it's kind of is it a little bit better? This is in rose gold instead of titanium, so we will be reviewing this watch in depth. Pictures, features, specifications, and pricing all coming up in 5 minutes. Until then, we will. This is what the remember what the original one looked like in 2023 with the gold tremblage dial. Yeah, I like the new one. I like the new one better. Let's check out who's in the chat. Logan Hall first. Thank you, Logan. he's responding quickly to those notifications. Awesome. We've got Dodger in the chat. Who is FP Journe? Never really heard of him. Well, listen, he's fading away into obscurity day by day because other brands like Recepi, J.N. Shapiro, and Simon Brette are leaving him in the dust. They're leaving FP Journe in the dust. Listen, people are fed up with FP Journe's lack of availability. There's just way too much demand by too many investor type customers. The hype is too much, and the watches are ugly. FP Journes are ugly, whereas brands like J.N. Shapiro, Simon Brette, and Recepi actually make beautiful, beautiful dress watches. So I don't think it's any competition. So it's no wonder that these new luxury independent brands are leaving FP Journe in the dust. Yeah, FP Journe is quickly fading away. This is a hyper brand. Do not, you don't have to wait years and years suffering rejection letter after rejection letter. Just fucking buy a better watch. How about that? Just buy a much, much better watch. SE from Germany. Good evening, OC. Link for Roger Federer. Yeah, Roger. Let's do it. Let's do link for Roger. Boom. Let's see. SE is a member. That's right. If you have a star next to your name, you are a member. Congratulations. SE, upvote number 4. Let's get to 10 likes, guys. 10 likes. Hey, America5726, upvoted. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Guys, upvote the live stream and type in a little comment to note that you upvoted. Boston Collectors in the chat. Simon Brette copied the amazing code 1159. He should join LVMH and make watches with Louis Vuitton. No, this is way, way nicer than a code 1159. This is very, very expensive. A very exclusive, independent brand, that only makes a few hundred watches a year, if that. I mean, I think they maybe only made like a few dozen watches a year. So there's no competition here. FP Journe and their, I don't know, 3,000 to 10,000 watches a year, plus 2,000 to 3,000 elegants. It's no longer a desirable brand. I mean, if you want to just subject yourself to rejection letter after rejection letter, that's fine. But I think FP Journe. I think the funny thing is that people are defending FP Journe who've been turned away by the brand, viciously and rudely turned away by the brand, are now kind of sucking the teat of FP Journe, trying to ingratiate themselves to the brand, all because they're hype and they sell over retail. Whereas you have great brands like Recepi and Simon Brette and J.N. Shapiro, much better watches, much more beautiful watches. Diego has been exposed. He didn't set his membership to auto renew. Oh, that's embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing to have one of the moderators and someone with keys to the channel to not have a membership. Very, very embarrassing. Boston Collector says, I'm convinced FP Journe is the next Picasso. I heard that from a watch expert. I don't think so. I think FP Journe is, I think they peaked in 2022. FP Journe peaked in 2022. From then on, it's been pretty much downhill. They haven't introduced any new watches. They haven't introduced any new designs. Customers are frustrated by these callous and cold rejection letters, and they're rewarding existing collectors with all the hot pieces, and it's impossible to break into the brand. Let me ask you a question. In our community, which is pretty extensive, a community that's gotten platinum Daytonas, Daytona Le Mans, Richard Mille, really desirable Patek Philippe's. How many people have gotten FP Journe? How many people have gotten a great FP Journe? Let me ask you. Well, if you've picked up an FP Journe, one of the good ones at retail, yeah, enter your comment in the chat, or better yet, join the panel. Yeah, this is a great looking watch. We'll be going through the features and specifications and the pricing in 5 minutes. Simon Brette is taking it to the hype independent brands by delivering aesthetic beauty and true exclusivity and rarity, not like FP Journe. Listen, FP Journe's ugly. FP Journe, the hands are ugly. The dial layouts are ugly for sure. What we have here in Recep Recepi and Simon Brette and Jan Shapiro, they're the new three musketeers. They're the new three thriving independent brands. The brands that are going to be, 2025 and beyond. I think what you're finding in FP Journe is that the hype is now dissipating. I think they're going. I mean, plus let's be clear. FP, Francois himself is no prize. Listen, we all know what he did, right? We all know what he did. And if you want to support a brand whose leader is engaged in that kind of reckless behavior, reckless and insulting and demeaning and derogatory behavior, then feel free. I won't do it. I stand with the watch collectors. I stand with the enthusiasts against those trying to hype investment brands. And that's what FP Journe has become, a investment brand that is, it's not ugly. It's not a good looking watch. No one has found an FP Journe that actually is a good looking watch. I mean, like a couple of the black label ones are interesting looking. They're not hideous, but most of the other ones are just plain ugly. And I think everybody knows that. I think the shine has worn off. FP Journe is very 2022. I think America is spot on here. I think America is someone who is very discerning when it comes to his purchases. He's very, very selective. And he knows this FP Journe, it's not a good brand. These are dress watches that you put on one time, and then it goes back in the drawer, or you pull it out maybe like once every 3 months, and you go into some kind of watch nerd event. Come on, man. Who's going to reach for FP Journe over Patek Philippe? It's over for these guys. It is over. It's passé. That's right. It's passé. What is the price tag on the Simon Brette? We're going to be reviewing the features, the specifications, and the pricing in 5 minutes. We'll be going through the pricing in detail. It's a very elaborate and sophisticated pricing structure. Hey, we've got Gatsby in the chat. What's up, Gatsby? Member for 4 months at the campaign senior advisor level. That's the $300 per month level. Thank you, Gatsby. That is just amazing. Could 2025 be the year of the independent? Has the community become so jaded that Rolex, Patek Philippe, AP, Journe et al. Aren't hitting quite as hard? Do we want a new drug? I think Gatsby has a really interesting point here. I think there are some of the main brands like Rolex that may be people are becoming a little bit jaded with them and their offering. You might want to include Patek in that and AP. I think Journe is a little bit different. Journe is an independent brand who's riding on hype and fake collectability, fake exclusivity, and it's just and weird aesthetics. And I think the ride is over for them. As much as they were the in thing about 3-4 years ago, now nobody wants Journe. If you want Journe and you want to subject yourself to the humiliating rejection letters, feel free. Go ahead. I wouldn't be caught dead in one, and that's just me. Dodger in the chat. I still think Rolex are the brand to which most people aspire, albeit I understand that there is more out there. Correct. Gatsby, I can't thank you enough for being such a great supporter of the channel. 4 months, member for 4 months at the $300 per month level. That's just really, really awesome. I can't thank you enough. If you would like to become a member, then if you don't have a star next to your name, don't be embarrassed. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Original OC memberships. Join today. It's over for Rolex. I saw a guy digging through a trash can in the park wearing a panda today, says Boston Collector. Yeah, listen. These pandas are a dime a dozen. They're no longer special. They are no longer special. Trap Vision 3D, what's up? Good to see you in the chat. CB, is OC offended by rejection? Offended for rejection? I'm not sure. Am I offended by rejection? Yes, 100%. I'm offended by rejection. But with FP Journe, I have never requested anything from them because the watches are ugly. The watches are hideous. Make no mistake, FP Journe's, I mean, an overwhelming majority of them are not good looking watches. And I know how people like to pretend that they're good looking. But come on, you're not fooling anyone. No one is fooling anyone. Let's just pick a FP Journe at random. Pull it up. Okay, what do you think of this? It's a fucking joke. This is a joke. Come on. This looks like it's worse than a kid's watch. It's awful. It's awful, guys. Come on. You don't have to defend it anymore. It's fine. I'm giving you air cover. It's okay to say you don't like this. There's certain people that have these watches that I think they're cool people. Like Mr. G has one of these. You know what? He's a cool guy, and he rocks it well. But let's not kid around, guys. Let's just not kid ourselves. These are ugly, ugly watches, and this is one of the nice ones. I mean, let's find one of the normal ones. I know you guys are going to say, "Oh, this is a beautiful watch." This is an amazing watch. Look how beautiful. Come on, guys. This is not a good looking watch. Guys, we do have highlighted comments available. Type in your highlighted comments. Click on the currency icon. You can choose a whole variety of different colors from which to choose. Hey, Muhammad Ali, member for 1 month, campaign volunteer. I'm so done. Thank you, Muhammad Ali. I'm so done with FP Journe. They keep brushing me off when I visit the boutique. They are not interested in my business. Muhammad, thank you for standing up and voicing what we are all thinking. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your bravery. I'm done. I'm so done with FP Journe too. Guys, it's time to rise up. It's okay to say it. Don't be scared. Stand up and say, I'm so done with FP Journe. I'm so done. I'm so done. I'm so done. Nothing to be scared about. These watches are ugly. Okay. I'm not going to subject myself to annual uh, demoralizing rejection letters. If you guys want to do it, feel free. But why? Just to buy an overpriced watch when I can buy Simon Brette or Rishepi or J.N. Shapiro? Much better watches, much more exclusive, much more rare, much better looking. What's up, Turtle Knight? Good to see you in the chat. Guys, anybody who's watching the live stream, please type in a comment so I can say hi. Hey, Mal, with our first highlighted comment of the show. £2 highlighted comment in Tiffany & Co. Blue. Pandas are no longer special as soon as I get mine. Okay, true. We have to get the watch first, and then we can say that they're boring, that they're easily available. But guys, come on. There's no need to play any more games. No need to play any more games when you have the ability to buy this. Fuck. Look how beautiful this is. If you're going to buy a very, very expensive watch, why subject yourself to waiting for FP Journe that's ugly when you can get a piece of true craftsmanship and finishing? CB says, OC convinced me too. I will dump my FP Journe. Listen, jump on the panel, CB. Show us which the models. Maybe your models are really beautiful. Maybe I've just overlooked them. And again, I'm not against collectors who've purchased FP Journe. If you bought those watches because you really like them and you think they're beautiful and all that stuff, I salute you. I really do. But for those of you who haven't gotten it yet and have deluded yourselves into thinking that you like them just because they sell for over retail, and if you've spent thousands of dollars traveling to attend these charcuterie board events where you're in a room with 15, 20 other nerds and you got to sit there and pretend to fucking hobnob with total strangers just so you can be checked off on an RSVP list. God forbid I didn't attend the Journe event this Tuesday. They're going to blacklist me. I'm not going to get a watch for another year. It's all, fuck them. Fuck them and their ugly watches. Billy Jean's in the chat. America 5726. This rainbow stuff is bullshit. Yeah. Rainbow bullshit is ugly AF. You can't, look at it. Come on. It's ugly. This doesn't even look like a real picture. It looks like someone did it in Photoshop. It's awful. Absolutely awful. Hey, we got Mikey in the chat. Evening OC and crew. I heard a brand called Parnell might be the next Richard Mille. By the way, Mikey, I may be coming to London. Who wants OC to go to London for the Oasis concert? I'm thinking about going for, maybe I'll go for Wimbledon and the Oasis concert. I'm going to spend 2 weeks attending every Wimbledon day, and then I'm going to go to the Oasis concert. Mikey, can you hook me up with some Oasis tickets? I know you want to go with your kids and all, but maybe you can have your kids stay home and you can invite me instead. Hey, Mr. Tutor to you, Fruit Loop watch. Period. Yeah, this is awful. They do the worst job with gems because I mean they just farm it out. It's paint by numbers with these guys. They don't have gem setting capability. They've got nothing. They've got nothing. Oh man. Who else do we have in the chat? Jump on the panel, guys. Don't I'm not going to read these inflammatory comments without your being held accountable. I will hold your feet to the fire for this. I think 2025 will be the year that everyone realizes Rolex is overpriced, mass-produced garbage. And Tudor is the hot new hot brand. What we need is true tool watches. You know, when Boston Collector trolls, sometimes he's really, really good, and then sometimes he's just not. No one loves Rolex as much as Boston Collector. Got whole milk in the chat. Is FP Journe the real master manipulator? I don't know. You tell me. I mean, you look at this watch. You think this is a good looking watch? Come on, man. Wake up, people. It's okay. Don't be shy. You can say it's ugly. No one's gonna reprimand you. By the way, it's ugly and overpriced. How about that? Hey, Journe Identity has become a new member of the original OC channel. Thank you. Guys, I can't think of a better holiday gift than giving yourself the gift of a membership to this channel. Dodger says, I am what I am. I'm not prepared to buy designer clothes and buy garbage just to be considered to buy one of their timepieces. Yeah. I don't know which brand to which you're referring, but here. I'm with you. Guys, I do want to bring to your attention that Simon Brette has introduced a new variation of his beautiful timepieces. This one is black. It's rose gold case instead of titanium. And I think it looks fantastic. Hey, Muhammad Ali, 10-pound highlighted comment. This one in beautiful mustard yellow. If you come to London next summer, we will treat you like the rock star that you are. I'm coming to London, guys. I'm going to come to London. I can't reveal the dates just yet, but OC is coming to London. I might be there for Wimbledon. I might be there for a couple of concerts. I can't tell you which ones because you guys will figure it out. And then I'm going to have a lot of people following me around. People will be taking pictures. I need to keep it low key, but thank you, Mohammed. Thank you for the highlighted comment. Guys, FP Journe is over, and it's time to embrace Simon Brette as the new fledgling luxury independent with real exclusivity and real rarity. Diego M., welcome.
Hello.
We will be reviewing the features, specifications, and pricing of this new model coming up momentarily in 5 minutes.
Thank God.
What do you think of the look of this model? Just cursory reaction.
Rose gold and black to me don't go very well. I like his
Ooh.
watches, but if you're using rose gold, I think you need to have a lighter dial. It cheapens the rose gold when you use black. I like his designs. I like his. I don't know what the other ones are, if they're steel or platinum, but to me, this is very. It doesn't look good. It's too. You know what the problem with this watch is? It is not everybody can wear it. I know
What do you
people.
mean?
Well, you know how like certain watches we say like this would look good on a like if you're tan, right? Like rose
Mhm.
gold is very like you got to have a tan, like otherwise it looks bad. To me, when you add black, you just make that even more difficult to wear. So I just really think that this is not a watch that everybody can pull off.
I know. I think this is a watch for super rich people that have lots of other watches already, right? This isn't your one and done dress watch. But I do think people who are looking for FP Journe should be looking at this, especially if you're on the if you've requested like $100,000 FP Journe. Guys, it's not all about buying a watch that's an investment. Well, you should buy. Diego. One thing that a concept that I pioneered back in the '80s that some people have picked up on, and actually I'm proud to say that a lot of people are adopting it as a motto for the industry and for the hobby. I say buy what you love.
Yeah.
That's what I say. That's what I've said that from the very beginning. I said buy what you love first and foremost, and then after that, then look at some other criteria. But first and foremost, buy what you love. And I'm so proud that other people have picked up on that and have adopted my credo and the philosophy that I've pioneered as something that is central to the watch collecting hobby.
I mean, you know my stance. If you don't, I believe that you really, if you see a watch, you fall in love with it, not knowing the price, not knowing if it's limited edition, not knowing if it's even a Swiss watch, right? You just see a design, you're like, oh, I love that. That has to happen first. Then you can start exploring, all right, how much does it cost? What's going to be the process of getting it? And some people love exclusivity, and if it is exclusive, that's a positive for them, right?
Right.
It's a challenge, but I don't think you should ever buy a watch simply because they only make 3 a year, or because if you buy it at retail, it goes for $500,000 at auction. That should never be the precursor to picking something up.
I think that is a great point.
Unless your motive is to make money, right? If your motive is to make money, then yeah, who cares what it looks like? Go for the hardest stuff to get.
Indeed. Listen, there's some people out there that want to insist that these are great looking watches. No doubt about it. They want to. They're going to look at this watch and they're going to say, they're going to deny reality. They're going to suspend disbelief, and they're actually going to talk themselves into thinking that these are good looking watches.
So here's what I'll say about these. And I've also said this too. These are terrible to me, to you. But somebody out there loves them. And
these are the watches only a mother could love.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to say that we don't like these, because what I never believe is when someone says they love everything a brand makes. It's not true. We're all so different. We're all unique. There's always going to be something you prefer. And just because it says FP Journe, like I'm a fan of the Optimum, the Resonance. I'm not a fan of these. And you should be able to be comfortable saying that.
You're a fan of this one? Is this the Resonance?
Yeah, I prefer it in platinum. And really quickly, CB says, what's wrong with making money? There's absolutely nothing wrong with making money. The issue is when you have people that buy certain watches and then claim, oh, I don't care about the secondary value, or I didn't buy this because it was an investment. I bought it because I love it, and then it ends up being a watch that doesn't fit their style, their collection, anything they've done in the past, right? Then it's like and again, nothing wrong with that either. That's not a mortal sin. It's not against the law, but it's just be genuine, be truthful. If you did buy a piece because you saw an investment opportunity, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be honest.
Right. By the way, thank you again, Muhammad Ali, for the highlighted comment. And look at this. Mikey says, nice one, OC. Oasis will be wild. I'm sure I can give you one of my kids' tickets. They won't mind. See? Well, listen, your kids won't appreciate it, Mikey, but I will. I will. Plus, I think we'll have a blast. We'll have a blast. So see, it's good to. Yeah, the viewers are very generous. Listen, I would never be able to get a hold of a ticket to go see Oasis. Those are impossible to get. You know, Mikey camped out for like 7 days straight in the pouring rain at Wembley Stadium just to get tickets for his family.
Wonderland, right?
Oasis. It's not Oasis, but thank you, Mikey. I will reach out to you on IG because he posts an Oasis related Instagram post every single day. And listen, let's coordinate it. I will be there for Wimbledon. I'm going to be there for Oasis, and who knows what else I'll be there for. But I'm coming to London. Gatsby, $10 highlighted comment. Before I get back to work, I nominate OC as Master Manipulator of the Year. That doesn't sound like a legitimate award category, but thank you. I love that half the chat doesn't know when he's being ironic, and the other half is probably guessed wrong. Oh, Gatsby. You think I'm being sarcastic? Come on.
OC.
Why would I be sarcastic? OC being sarcastic? OC being provocative? Never. These watches are ugly, guys. Let's not kid ourselves any longer. These are an outrage. They're an abomination. And furthermore, you have to spend thousands of dollars traveling back and forth all over the globe to attend a fucking event with bad wine and charcuterie boards with 15 other nerds. I went to an FP Journe event. You know what happened? A guy put out a counterfeit Patek Philippe Nautilus. That's the kind of people that attend these events. The guy was banned.
What about Sean, Mr. G, Eddie,
Mr. G's well.
Journe Identity, Cars and Chrono.
Hold on. Boston Collector? Boston Collector doesn't have Journes.
No, but I'm saying those are the people going to the events.
Boston Collector doesn't go to any events for FP Journe. Doesn't go. Hasn't gone to a single event. If he gets a Journe, it's because he knows people. Journe Identity, the guy's a master lover of Journe. I can't fault him for that. He actually loves the brand and loves the watch. But most of the people...
Hold on. A master lover. He loves Journe so masterfully.
He does. He absolutely loves Journe. By the way, Dodger, thank you so much for the gifted membership, and congratulations to Whole Milk. Whole Milk is actually a member now, courtesy of Dodger. Thank you, Dodger. I really appreciate it. But please don't gift memberships because they end up going to vicious, rotten, nasty people. And in this case, it went to Whole Milk.
Oh, I would love a membership.
Buy your own memberships, not you, Diego.
I'm broke.
OC needs to attend 5 more events before he said, I'm not attending any events. Okay. I'm not kissing those nerds' asses at FP Journe events. I'm just not doing it. And Diego, you've shared a similar sentiment in the past. I won't put you on in the spotlight, but
I'll tell my story.
All right, here's Diego's story, guys. Listen in, buckle up.
Yeah, I visited Journe in New York. It went amazing. Had a great time. The next time I was in town, I was very excited to make an appointment. Turns out that appointment was the very last appointment right before I called was taken. It was very sad. Turns out I was taken by Buckley, and Buckley forgot to go. So the next time I was in town, or actually before that, my sales associate left Journe, and I was told that I'd be transferred to Miami. I called very politely and said, I appreciate that. I don't travel to Miami. Let's keep it in New York. And they said, it's fine. Don't worry. We visit Atlanta. I said, no, I'd like to stick with New York. And they're like, okay. And When we went OC, we didn't have an appointment. No big deal. It was Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Oh, but it was a big deal. It was a big
There,
deal.
yeah, it was like we walked into like some secret briefing in the Pentagon and we weren't supposed to be there. So I made the decision that I didn't want to be part of the brand. Doesn't mean I don't love the watches, but the treatment we received was not what you expect for entry level pieces, 30, 40,000. So, but I will say, if I lived in New York, if I lived in LA, London, Paris, Miami, I would certainly be going to these events. I think it's a great model. I think the brand has every right, with as limited production as they have, to choose their customers. These sales associates are not only looking for the right home for the watch, but they're looking for, who am I going to be associated with for the next 4, 5, 10 years, 15, 20 years. You're going to see these people at events, dinners. You're going to get to know them. You're going to get to know their family, because it is such a small community. And I think they have every right not only to pick the best qualified buyer, but pick somebody that they get along with. Nothing illegal in that, nothing wrong. It's not the only industry that does that. So, yeah.
Great story. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. But let's cover now this watch. This is the new Simon Brette. Now this is the Chronometra Artisans Rose. And this is a new variation on the piece that he introduced in 2023. Shout out to Hodinkee. They are the provider of the images. Shout out to Mark Kozlarek, who is the one of the top guys there, who's not only a great photographer, but he also writes a lot of the articles. A few months ago, Simon Brette was in New York as part of the Hodinkee's house of craft thing that they did. So he was there. I actually meet him on that day. But the first watch that Simon Brette released was this one right here, if you recall.
Okay, let me tell you a story.
Tell me a story.
And this goes back to everything we said earlier. When I first saw this watch, I can't remember if it was Monochrome or Hodinkee or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I fucking love this. I love this. So I think it was Instagram, because they didn't even have the brand. So I had to like reverse, like I had to figure out what is this? And I finally found it, and I went to the website, and I was like, oh, he only makes like 5 or something.
Yeah, like 30 or something a year. I don't know.
Yeah, but I had that initial, that's what I think that's what you should have before you buy a watch, is like, I had that feeling.
Yeah, that you look at it and instantly you know that it's a good looking watch. It's the exact opposite feeling that you get like when you saw the Cubitus for the first time.
Yes. Yeah, wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Cubitus, there were additional factors that you would think would help it, right? Goes over retail, Patek Philippe, exclusive, sports watch, steel sports Patek, but none of that stuff mattered. I saw the Cubitus and I said, no, thank you. It's not for me. Immediately.
Right. Well, you weren't the only one. This first watch, known as the Chronometra Artisans by Simon Brette, was released in 2023, and it caused quite a buzz. They were kind of like the media darling by the corporate elite, like the Wacos and those guys. They kind of gave Simon Brette their stamp of approval, which I don't think is actually a good thing. But it was clear that this guy was kind of an insider, and that people knew who he was. And when he launched, they kind of jumped on board. He kind of had a good PR run when he launched this watch. So these are, he started off doing like subscription pieces where he basically went out and made people pay for them in advance, and then he rolled this thing out. And this was in 2023, and everybody was kind of like goo goo gaga about it. Remember?
Yeah. I don't. I really, I'll be honest with you. After I went to the website and I saw just how limited they were, I just stopped looking. I never read any articles about them. I just, yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
they were.
Probably can't get it and moved on with my life.
Yep, he introduced, or he issued 100 of these in titanium, and it won the 2023 GPHG award for Horological Revelation Prize. So he actually won a GPHG award. So he's an industry darling right out of the gate.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool design. You can't take anything away from it. I think this looks much better than the rose and black. Don't you think this is more wearable for everybody? Because
yeah, this is different. This is definitely a new take on it.
the
But let's
titanium, you could put any strap you want. That's the beauty of a light colored dial. You can change the straps up.
true.
This, like the titanium, you can put a brown leather, black. You could put a Tiffany blue. You could put pink, whatever you want. This one here, the rose and black dial,
a little bit more limiting, no doubt about it.
very limited. Even a dark blue on this would not work. Think about that.
Yep.
So,
this is the Chronometra Artisan's Rose, which is a new evolution of the model. This is people say kind of a bolder look. I mean, with that black, it's just a little bit kind of more striking, a little bit more contrast. While other case materials and dials are coming in the next few years, this time, for now, Simon Brette is choosing rose gold. So it's a rose gold dial with tremblage style hand engraving, the same hand engraving as the previous model, but this now has a black DLC coating on it, which, and listen, black DLC isn't really like considered a luxury finishing, or a luxury material. So, you have to take that with a grain of salt, but it is a gold dial that's treated with black DLC coating. According to Hodinkee, they say it's cohesive and legible in a way that exceeds the first model by a decent margin. And let's see here. It's list price of this model is $96,000. Very, very expensive.
Pretty expensive, but looking at all the other people doing this kind of stuff, it's not outrageous for the market.
Let me pull up they're known, this guy's known for his kind of like super detail and finishing. So take a look at that. Boom.
Yeah, that's nice. And the kind of, I don't even know what you call it, like the parchment paper minute track, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, that's unique. I don't know if I've ever seen something like that.
It looks good.
Yeah, and it looks great. So.
The original Chronometra Artisans featured a brass movement, but the updated movement has rose gold plates and bridges that contrast better against the two barrels, which provide 72 hours of power reserve. Everything is black polished to the extreme, giving the beautiful swirling effect to the barrels. Let me open up this image for you so you can check out it's kind of a blurry image. Let me see if I can get a better one here.
That looks great. That's the back. Interesting.
Yeah.
I had really going back to Journe. You know how there's like a subset of people that hate Rolex, and let's be honest, it's a lot of them either can't get them or have had extreme difficulty getting them. Sometimes not of their own fault, right? Just a shitty AD or, backdoor deals, and they can never, break the glass ceiling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of that with Journe. With Rolex, you have Tudor, Omega, Breitling collectors that they scoff at Rolex. They probably had a bad experience trying to buy Rolex. I'm seeing that with Journe. You have a lot of Rolex Patek people, AP, and they're looking at Journe and going, fuck that stupid watch. Meanwhile, they've all tried to get one. Maybe not you, but I've seen a few people in the chat poo-pooing the brand. I think if they were in a position to go to dinners and have a great time and meet other collectors, that they would love the brand.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, this is the new Simon Brette Chronometra Rose, 95,000. It's expensive, no doubt about it. Very expensive.
Yeah.
So
like this would look terrible on Buckley. You know?
Yeah, he doesn't listen. This is too ornate for Buckley. It's too ornate for me too. I don't. This is not my style either.
Yeah.
Simone and his team will make 50 of these. Okay, 50. So Brett started off making 12 watches a year, and will roll out 2 more versions of the Chronometra Artisans in the next 2 years. For each new version, including this one, they will start adding 12 more watches to their production. So they're like, for this year, they're going to try and do 24 watches a year. Then in 2026, they're going to try and do 36 watches a year. So I mean, we're talking extremely limited production here, which is to be commended, right? You get one of 12 watches for the year.
Yeah, I mean, how many people work there?
Probably a handful. Listen, there's a bunch of great up and coming guys. There's it's Reshepi, this guy, Jan Shapiro, you got Raoul Paget, you got Remy Cools, and they're all finding their little place. They're all taking advantage, I think, of kind of the the rise of the independents. Now, if you ask me what a good looking gold watch is, I like this thing.
What is that? Is that a Reshep?
Yeah, it's a Reshepi. Zoom in a little bit.
See, my initial reaction is
yeah, I like the ones with the Roman numeral. Those are rubies.
Why?
Yeah. just a different version.
Yeah, for me, this is not good. I think the hour hand looks very bad. The minute hand, yes, it's different, but different is not always good. Okay? Unique is not always good. And I think that's what he was going for when he made this watch, is I need to make hands that have never been seen before. Something that when people see it, they say that is Reshepi, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he did that, and it doesn't look good.
Here's maybe a better, I prefer these models here.
It looks more like a thermometer or some sort of gauge instrument. Those hands are bad. It doesn't look as bad in the steel, or what is that? Platinum? It's not as bad.
Yeah. Too bad Simon Brette was seen behaving poorly in front of some big collectors at a dinner in Geneva. I think that's true. I think I heard something about it was Simon Brette, Reshepi, and Jean-Claude Biver that were seen behaving badly in front of some big collectors. This is somehow totally acceptable to the Swiss watch industry. Sad, yeah. Where you have guys with ethics who do nothing and their watches don't sell, but you have people who are scumbags in real life, and their watches are revered.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, yep. Winner of the GPHG award for Bicep of the Year.
But you know what? Like, going back to that terrible Octo Sport or whatever we were looking at earlier.
Right.
It's okay that a brand has that.
You just went mute, but that's okay. Yeah, like these are hideous watches. FP Journe is clearly a money grab for preying on elderly collectors close to their deathbeds. Ooh. I don't know. I don't think all FP Journe collectors are elderly. I think most of them are. Listen, I think you're saying that they're elderly because they're senile. Because they look at this watch and they think this is good looking. But I don't think that's just senility. I don't think that that's just delusion. I think is they are being bamboozled. Most artists are scumbags. It's just how it is. That is a sweeping generalization. Billie Jeans. Guys, we have over 40 people watching. Let's hit that upvote button. Let's get to 20. Do we have 20 likes? Come on, guys. Let's get to 20 likes. If we already have 20, let's get to 25. We have a bunch of people watching.
Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
I panicked. I was hosting the show by myself for almost 45 seconds.
No, but I was saying is like, look at the Rolex lineup. I'm sure everybody has a couple that they just don't resonate with. Vacheron, Patek even. There's a lot in Patek that I don't like. But that's okay. There's a couple that I do. And you don't have to be a fan of the entire brand. I think, and this watch that we're looking at here is a perfect example. And you just have to be, what's the word? You have to be an adult about it and understand that the brand's identity and existence is not catered specifically to what you like, right? They have to cater to a wide variety of people. So some brands will have what we consider dogs. To other people, it's their dream watch. Just yeah.
By the way, I just got a notification from a viewer. Congratulations to you. I don't want to say exactly who you are, but this person has been allocated a Simon Brette. You know how hard it is to get a Simon Brette?
Yeah, congrats.
Congratulations to you. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Congratulations. Better than FP Journe. I mean, if someone came on the show and said, "Hey, I'm getting allocated FP Journe," listen, Eddie got one. Was there big fanfare? No.
Yeah, there was huge fanfare. What are you talking about?
Does he even still have the watch?
So I saw it yesterday, but I can't confirm that he still has it to this day.
Correct. We don't know if he has it today.
You just don't. I mean, it's not a 100% for certainty kind of thing, so I can't speak on that.
Simon Brette has a much better name than Maurice Grossman. And Maurice Grossman was probably big in 2020. That was probably their peak, or 2021, the year that they came out with the Tremblage. And after that, it's been pretty much downhill. I mean, they haven't introduced anything exciting since. So at least Simon Brette he launched his Tremblage watch in a year and a half ago, and now he's finally come out with a new version.
Yep.
Boston Collector wants, I think, feedback from you, Diego. He says the new term "dream dog watch" should be considered. Watches that everyone sees as a dog watch, but it's some delusional sucker's grail watch.
No, it doesn't work. How about runner-up, prom queen? Runner-up to the prom queen or something.
Something like that, like bridesmaid.
Bridesmaid. Yeah, that's it. Well, I don't know, because sometimes the bridesmaids are kind of hot.
So the bridesmaids are hotter than the bride?
Sometimes. In my case, no. It wasn't even close. But you get what I'm saying.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, we have Eddie got the Journe. He actually loves it. He loves the brand. He loves being invited to special events and parties. And so he got in. I don't know if he got in early, but he earned his spot.
No,
He loves Journe. He didn't.
he got in like 6 months ago.
Shit,
Eddie's
prick.
Eddie's just a good guy. He had the luxury of access to the events too. I think so. My thesis on why Buckley got the Tiffany Patek. It's because they have to decide who are we going to be hanging out with for the next couple of years.
No one is better at hanging out with than Buckley. You know,
I would disagree. I'd say Eddie is like way better. So I think with Eddie, it's like, all right, yeah, this guy, he hasn't even been here a year, but we fucking love him, right?
right?
We don't want to lose this guy. Let's get him in.
Guys, we just hit 50 viewers, making this the most viewed live stream currently live on YouTube that's broadcasting from a basement. So, guys, yeah, upvote the live stream.
It's these brands have to choose who they hang out with. Simple as that.
John D agrees with Boston Collector. At least Simon Brette is the guy's name. Grossman's first name was Carl. Why not see that on their dials? Moritz isn't cool for a name. Yeah. Brand names have a lot to do with that. That's why I was happy to, even though Recepi is, people think it's like a joke name or a stupid, it's hard to pronounce, it's hard to spell. It's way better than Acrivia. Acrivia was a disaster of a name.
Yeah, there's a lot in the name for sure.
I'm pretty sure that Tiffany Patek thought Buckley was homeless because he was wearing kith and had just been using the bathroom. They probably thought he was showering in the sink. Nice of them. Yeah, they wanted to listen. They wanted to get. Everyone has quotas, and I think Tiffany Patek wanted to make sure that a few of their watches landed up on the wrists of the homeless.
I wish we had this type of Boston when he's on the panel.
But yeah, when he's on the panel, he's in the chat. He's so trolly. He's so trolly in the chat.
People don't get to see this type of Boston. We hear it privately. It's some of the best stuff ever.
Privately, Boston is very funny, very quick-witted.
Yeah.
Publicly, not so much.
Nope. It's got a reputation to uphold.
If you think of Acrivia, is it, hey, we got Rose finally typing in a comment. After watching for over an hour, he finally has the courage to muster up a comment. If you think Acrivia is a disaster name, maybe check yourself against the auction prices. Nope. It doesn't make the name any better.
Hey, OC, guess how much Caitlyn Jenner is worth?
Yeah, she's rich.
She is so rich. Does that make her hot? No. Your face, Rose. Burned.
Well, listen, Rose is the kind of guy that looks at this watch, this pair of watches, and he says, these are beautiful watches. He says, it reminds me of Golden's mustard.
He once said, we were looking at this watch one time, and he said, I love it. It reminds me of me. And I was just like, I gotta go.
Yeah. These, I mean, but yeah, he loves these. He says these are the most beautiful watches on the planet. Well, that shows you what kind of credibility that he has. Now he's going to say, oh, well, OC, you're just mad because
you're a hater.
Hater. You don't get invited to unlimited moldy cheese.
Yeah. Rose, most people just wash their face with soap. Rose uses caviar juice. So he's in a different league.
Now, let's see here. I wonder, look at these beautiful watches. These are gorgeous. Rose says, these are the ugliest watches ever designed. He doesn't like Reshepi. He does not like Reshepi. He is not a fan.
These look like Mings, to be honest with you.
And here's another example of an FP Journe. Rose weighing in the chat. This is the ugliest watch ever designed. Listen, you won't get much disagreement from me. I think it looks like two. Listen, this is the brand that came out with a watch that has a dial that has a parking meter on it. What the fuck? And
baseball.
This one has two baseballs. This one has two baseballs and a bunch of numbers. It's impossible to really understand what this watch does. Okay, you have the time on one side, you got another time on the other. Why? Just why? Why? And then you got a weird power reserve indicator at the 12 o'clock where the brand should be. It's just weird. Just absolutely weird. Yeah, America's 5726. The double upside down snowman. Yeah, it's like the BB-8. These are known as a lot of people call them the BB-8 because you turn it upside down, it looks like a Star Wars. Well, what do they call those things? Not a robot.
Why did you have to ruin this watch for me? Jesus.
Yeah, the twin BB-8s. It's awful. It's awful.
Jeez.
So.
Come on, America.
Yeah, come on.
Dirty.
I'd be curious to know what Rose thinks of this. This is the new Simon Brette. It's expensive, $95,000. I get it, but it's it's got high contrast. It's kind of cool. Rose says this is the ugliest watch ever designed. Okay. Listen, he's not a fan of anything today.
It's such a simple troll, but it's fucking funny.
I know. Listen, for him to repeat.
OC, pull up the 36 Day-Date Platinum with baguettes. I want to hear Rose's thoughts on that watch.
Okay, let me pull up something slightly different. Like let me give FP Journe a chance.
Okay. Let
me pull up something incredible and give Rose a shot. How about how about this? This is it. Yeah, Souverain. Come on, a Souverain. You got.
That sounds
you gotta
like a Hyundai or something. The new Hyundai Souverain.
Yeah, the Hyundai Souverain. You got to at least like this one, right?
Yeah. No, you know what? Ooh, shit, Rose. Oh.
Well, I blame the strap. I mean, if you put a nicer strap on it, it's going to look a lot nicer. No, come on. But I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Man, Rose is spicy tonight.
Being brutal in the chat today. Absolutely brutal. What about this one? I mean, is there a chance? What about this one?
What do you think, Rose? Do you like this watch? Mathis is very close to calling Rose a legend, and if he does that, I will have to fly to Miami and kick his ass. Don't fund him.
America, what do you think of this one? You think it's okay? Okay, he likes it. It's okay. It's not great. It's not awful either. Fair enough. If those are snowmen, do they each have two peepees? Yeah, what did I do? I got so many tabs open. So many tabs. Oh, here it is. Boom. Well, I don't know. That's it. I mean, listen, I know we have over 50 people watching, but that's, I mean, we covered it. There's breaking news today. The breaking news is that Simon Brette has taken the wind out of the sails of FP Journe. FP Journe is no longer the independent darling. Listen, their disastrous antics, I mean, the leader's disastrous behavior has tarnished the brand. They have ridiculed and insulted genuine collectors by sending out cold and callous rejection letters, even for people who are deserving enthusiasts. And emerging brands like Simon Brette, J.N. Shapiro, Reshepi are taking the wind out of the sails. Absolutely. And these are much better. These are prettier watches, more attractive looking watches than FP Journe, no doubt about it. So yeah, that's the show for today. I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about anything else? Any other topics? Should we keep going?
Yeah. Drop the link. Let's get somebody else on.
All right. How about this? We will now open up the panel. Panel is now open for business. Boom. Okay. You guys talking smack in the chat. Now's your chance. Hop on the panel. Listen, Diego's in the middle of his workday. He's providing estimates for multi-billion-dollar projects.
Doxed.
No,
I'm working on the charity right now.
Which takes up at least 15 minutes a week, guys, and he chose to do it now while on the live stream. But jump on the panel. Listen, if you CB, jump on. Show us, send me pictures, by the way, of your 3 FP Journes. I'll pull them up, and we will do a live paid review of your 3-piece Journe collection. What's up, Jonathan Smith? Good to see you in the chat. We got Lee Dobo. This question is for Diego. Would you consider doing a paid review from Archie?
It says OC. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm delegating. Would I do a paid review of Archie's watch collection? I think we've all seen Archie's watch collection like 50 billion times over the last 2 months. It's I think he has an ugly Breguet. Sorry. An ugly JLC and something else, and like a bluesy. It's a awful collection, but he just got the new Breguet, I think, right? The new Tradition. So that's a good looking watch.
I don't know. Is that the one we were talking about yesterday?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a good watch.
Yeah, so send me a picture. Archie can send me a picture. Jump on the panel. Yeah, if Archie wants to send me $250, I will do a paid watch review of his collection, and that $250 will go to charity, a charity of his choice. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
If he's a $250 highlighted comment, and he will get a full paid review.
All right, email sent. So what's the? Oh, were you ending it, by the way? I didn't mean that.
Do what?
Were you ending the show while I took that?
No, I'm not going to end it. I'm going to keep going. Even the audience likes dead air. CB, who's been made a moderator because of his purchase of 3 FP Journes. Congratulations on being a moderator, CB. Archie has pics of my FP Journe. I will ask if he can send them to you. You can't send them to me? Send them to me on Instagram. Or you can just send them to me directly. Yeah, have Paul send me the pictures. I'll pull them up.
Excuse me.
I think he's asleep though. It's early in Australia.
The trophy is perhaps being shipped today, by the way.
No, you're referring to the Watch Colony trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad to see it go, but I don't think MJ will have it very long. So.
You think someone else is going to get something substantial soon? I don't think so.
I think who was it? I think I heard somebody else was getting a Batman soon, so that'll go straight to them, right?
Yeah, a Batman's a cool watch.
It's much better than what MJ got.
All right, CB.
I'm a little bitter that he took it from me, but that's okay.
CB, yeah, just have Paul send me the pictures. I'll pull him up on a future show. He's probably asleep right now, but thank you, appreciate it. I'll happy to pull them up, and we'll do a whole segment.
Why doesn't he just tell us which ones they are when we just find them online?
Yeah, we could do that too.
Well, I do have to go now.
Yeah, no worries. Topic that Rose wants to discuss. Boston Collector wants to bring up. If Rose has a gay dream watch, will he finally be seen as a model citizen? I think by gay dream watch, he's referring to something like this. Boston, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? This is
Great.
completely ridiculous. Simon Brette is the next Regepi. You guys are trashing him all day.
How dare we trash him by saying that he's going to be the next Journe?
I know. You need to get your head checked. He's clearly the next coming of Regepi. He won the GPHG award, which means he has the most talent in the industry. And everybody wants these watches. Everybody. Whether you know it or not, you're going to want this watch. And the price is nothing. I mean, by the time you actually get the watch delivered, it's going to be $250,000. But in 5 years, you'll have a Simon Brette, right? Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, isn't that appealing?
Very.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite part about independent watchmakers is that they say, "Oh, sure, you can have allocation in 2026. What's the price tag? Oh, it's only 75,000. Oh, no problem. Oh, I need a 50% deposit now. Okay, no problem. I'll send that along. Next year comes. You know what? We raised our prices, but you're still looking good for 2029. Wait a second. I thought it was 2026. Nope, 2029 now. Sorry, we had a little delay in production. I'm going to need a little bit more of that 50% deposit." And
that does happen. It happens. That happens to Ferdinand Berthoud. It happens to Gronfeld. It happens to.
And you're just pot committed to the point that you're like, I hope this guy doesn't shut his 3-person factory down and steal my money.
Yeah, I think wasn't it Rogers? It was either Roger Smith or Philippe Dufour that got in a lot of trouble recently for continually. I think it was Roger Smith. He just kept raising the prices,
Pump and pump. No dump.
That's
just
right.
Pump
There's
and
no
pump.
dump.
Everybody's on the chain. Oh, you don't want the watch? Okay, you lost your deposit. It's extortion. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But who doesn't like that? I mean, that's a badge of honor if you can withstand all of the extortion and finally get your watch, then you can brag about it. Then you make the next guy do the same thing, to try to catch up to you. That's what it's all about. That's what watches should be about, you know? Forget
Yep.
this buy what you like. It should be try to get what the other guy can't get. I mean, that's really what it should be about.
There was a time, Boston, not to put you in the hot seat, but there was a time I think where you wanted to get FP Journe, Resheppi, and did you also reach out to Simon Brette too? Or no?
Raul Paget.
Raul Paget?
Yeah.
What about
early.
what about Jay and Shapiro? You haven't formally requested.
I didn't reach out to him early. I didn't reach out to him early.
Got it. But
like
you
him.
did reach out to Resheppi, and you are you have requested a very specific FP Journe. I think there's like two maybe that you like, and they're the two hottest models. Which one do you? I mean, have you rethought that? Have you thought, you know what, shit, you know what, I don't want all three of these things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you go through phases where you're like, you don't have that many watches, so then you want everything, but then you get a lot of watches, and you're like, ooh, I didn't realize how hard it is to choose between watches or to have really good watches sitting in the case, you know, and then you kind of get to a point where you're like, all right, I gotta, like, this is crazy. I can't, it feels bad having certain watches sit in the safe, or, you know, instead of on your wrist. When you get to a certain level of watch, it's real hard. So I think that goes into that whole thing. It's like, I think there's different levels, you know, to be honest. I think you see it, most people are familiar with it with Rolex, Omega, Tudor, Patek, AP, and it kind of like, you kind of go up the chain. You start with maybe a JLC or a Tudor or a Oris or a Dassault, and then you move to like Rolex and Omega, and then you kind of are like, all right, it's time to look at a Royal Oak or a Vacheron or those kind of things, JLC, maybe a Breguet or something. And then you move into Patek, and then I don't know, you just kind of move your way through everything, but you realize, like, man, I don't need 16 Rolex. Like, how did that happen? You know?
Yep. Well, it's easy to have happen when they're all going over retail, and you buy a bunch of them really fast, and that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
What's not smart, and which is impossible, is timing the market and saying, you know what, okay, so I have 16. We're at the peak of the market. Get rid of them. It's like, no. These were hard to get. I may never get the chance to buy them again. And then you watch the price drop. You know, and then like 2 years later. But you don't make as much as you could have had you sold earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about, you know, it's partly that, but it's partly like the way it works is really somewhat insidious, really, because Rolex will really kind of keep you on some plan of every 6 months they dangle some carrot in your face, right? And it's like this continuous, like, well, you can't get anything, and then all of a sudden 6 months comes by, and then they call you, guess, great news, you know, the watches that you've requested are in, and then you're excited and you go pick it up, and then you're like, oh wait, I didn't really think about what else I've gotten in the last 6 months, and if I'm actually going to wear this watch, you know. So I think that's what's tricky with all these, but the same thing can happen with independents. Especially think about how long some of these wait times are. You might be 2-3 years out from getting an allocation on a Simon Brette. You might be saying that 2028 allocation. What's your collection going to look like in 3 years? Come on, that's crazy. I mean, you got to really know, I want that watch. Like you might have 4 other independents by then. You know, it's tricky.
True. Yeah. Rose in the chat says Boston Collector is forever bitter from reaching out to these watchmakers and getting a hand to the face.
Did I get a hand to the face? Or am I waiting on 2030 allocation from Giuseppe? We'll have to wait and see.
That's right, 2030. Well, nothing wrong with 2030. It's ample planning. Great. It gives you a good time to plan.
Exactly. And the good news is that, you know, the deposit's non-refundable, so I'm along for the journey.
Yeah. I mean, some people would say stuck. That's a derogatory term. I mean, when you get married, are you stuck with that person? No, you're not. It's like you've chosen
Right.
to be loyal and express your loyalty formally. And that's what you've done by putting a non-refundable deposit in place.
Yeah.
You know, you've committed loyal, you know, you expressed loyalty, they're expressing
maybe
loyalty
buying
back.
a sports car too, you know, sending a few cases of wine, a few vacations, you know, besides the deposit. You got to grease the wheels a little bit, you know. If you want that 2030 to become 2029, you know, you don't just sit there and say, okay, I'll wait. No, I think you know, with all these brands, you know, the wait time is very tricky. And you know, you see it with guys like you know, especially guys with a milestone where they've had multiple brands waiting 2-3 years for pieces, and they're like, I don't know, I could get a Aquanaut, or I could get a, you know, sorry, I'll go over that again. OC's back.
I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, you know, it's tricky. You see it with the guys that have been waiting on, you know, 2 or 3 brands for a piece, and they're like, I don't know, I might get a like Muhammad was like, this year I might get a Vacheron, a Pepsi, a Royal Oak, an Aquanaut, you know, et cetera, and he doesn't know like which is going to come in, when, how, why, and it's like his birthday, so he wants to get everything, but you just don't know the order. And I, you know, you hit this on the lower levels, but it gets really extreme on the high levels. I was talking to a collector today about this, but think about how hard it is when you get a choice between $200,000 pieces, and you're like, I don't really want to buy both because I'll have to like sell a lot of my collection to get both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of like, you don't know the order of them. You might prefer one, but you might hear about that one second. So you really have to you do have to think ahead on these things a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know the answer on the allocation. You know, we think the FP Journe allocation is bad. Imagine, at least they don't ask for a deposit, right?
Right.
Like, imagine if FP Journe was asking for a deposit for all these people before they can go to events. I mean, they probably should. Right? They probably should. They probably should be like, hey, yeah, you want this piece? Great, we'll get it for you eventually. But, you know, in order to go to our events, like, it's just for people with deposits. That would be genius. I mean, I'd make FP Journe some serious money with that, right?
For
sure. They'd have the
sure.
money up front, and they could just, you know, put it in the good old Swiss bank, make some sweet cash on it, interest. And what collector that's really seriously waiting is gonna balk at that, you know, 20,000, whatever.
Yep. And so you're waiting for watches from a bunch of brands, including Rolex. You know, you're right. They're dangling. If they dangle watches in front of you, titanium Yachtmaster, and they're very hard to get. dial configurations of Daytonas, like for example, this one. Who's going to say no to this? Who's going to say no to these? So Rolex has a way of keeping you on the hook.
I would like to say something about this.
Sure.
I think the yellow gold Daytona Le Mans is way more rare than the white gold version. And I think that this one, if you look at the secondary price, is super high. It's like sky high. And maybe it's because it's the newer one, but maybe because they didn't make that many of them. I don't know. I saw $450 for this.
Well, yeah, they just a whole bunch just got delivered within the last week across the world, and you're starting to see fresh ones appearing on people's wrists. So I don't know how many are out there, but certainly within the last week or so, a bunch kind of dropped into the 80s, and congratulations to those people who got it. Rose in the chat, this is the ugliest watch ever designed. He's not a fan of the Daytona, never was. He doesn't like chronographs. So Rose, this is the ugliest watch ever. Terrible. I mean, just a rude comment, very rude. CB in the chat says the exact opposite. Best Rolex ever made is this one. Wow, those are glowing compliments.
It's two different ones, huh? Yeah, it's interesting too. Like, it's not unheard of for brands to have these ask for deposits. Remember, not too long ago, I think it was like PK had been waiting like 3 or 4 years on his Snoopy with a deposit in there, and I had to put a deposit on my Omega, the gold one that I had. That was a lot of money. It's like 20 grand I had to put down for that thing. And I waited like 5 months, but he waited like 3 years with a deposit on his. So,
yep.
Will we see that more? I don't know.
Someone who I believe is in direct contact with Simon Brette is joining the panel. Jonathan Quayle Higgins. What's up, JQH? What's up? How you been? Tell me what you think of this new version.
Isn't it gorgeous?
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, sure.
It's okay.
Whatever.
Should we talk about internal angles and how those bridges are?
You can't listen. My audience is a hype audience, Jonathan. We don't give a fuck about the movements and perlage and anglage.
Wait. How many? I have a question. How many new interior angles did you add to this one from the last one?
None, because that watch is so on fire. It's so beautiful, so full of innovations and crazy things that he can just keep on doing them.
Pumping them out. Pump and dump.
Well, if 50 pieces per year is pump and dump.
I'm joking. Yeah, he's pumping them out. He's going to make the same watch for the next 10 years, right? And he'll be
actually not, because he's going to bring in a new one in 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
Is there something, without boring my audience to death, which is probably likely? What do you? I mean, can you share a few things about this? What did I do with it? Where did it go? Okay, it's still there. What can you tell people about this that is so incredible?
So the first thing that just strikes your eyes is all the screw heads are not flat; they're concave, which is painful and time-consuming to make. Nobody else does that at the moment. So all the screw heads that you see here on those big screws are concave. So you can't simply polish them on a diamond paste surface or anything. You have to spend a lot of time to do those.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, and in the article, the Hodinkee article, it does say that based on the amount of time that they spend per watch, they estimate that about $60,000 of the retail price is spent on finishing.
That's total bullshit.
I'm sure it is.
I mean, we all know the margin on those high horology pieces, and so the watch is, I don't know, is it $85,000 US or something like that. So he can get this watch produced for 10, 12,000. That's it.
Yeah.
If you don't mind my asking, Jonathan, you did say that you've been in contact with Simon. Have you requested? I mean, if you don't want to share, I understand. But did you request something from him?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know if you're going to get it and when?
No, I don't know. So what you do is you contact him, and he sends you a kind of standard form back. What other brands you have, if you're willing to put a deposit, how high that deposit would be, and some random questions, and you just send it.
Wow, extortion.
And I've been in touch with him. I've been in touch with him in person, just to get a better position in the starting field, and yeah, that's it.
Cool. Is there and the watch that you requested, is it any special configuration or anything? Or
well, he was talking about the rose gold. I think the next version will be platinum or something like that. So he's changing case materials, and also the engraving technique or the surface technology on the dials. But we are all ordering or waitlisted for the Chronomètre d'Altisson, which is this watch.
Mm. Nice.
it's too much French for me. What is that in English?
Well, it is the chronometers of the craftsman, and basically he's doing Simon Brette and friends. Simon Brette, I don't know if he's a watchmaker. As far as I know, he's a product manager.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be a product manager at Max Büsser and friends,
Mm-hmm.
and he makes now his own watch. And for example, the guy who polishes those screw heads is a personal friend of him, and he's the only one who does it at the moment.
Question from CQ. He says, Jonathan, did you find the form a bit too long? I heard that the process is a bit intrusive, but have not checked it out. Okay, no.
Not intrusive at all. I can tell you, if you apply for a Grand Seiko Micro Artist Studio, that is a long form, and you have to bend over twice and everything.
Nice.
So no, it was not too long and not intrusive from what I got.
You're getting a lot of questions from hard-hitting collectors, including CB. Jonathan, can I ask a dotted white line in the center? I think he's asking about the watch that you requested, maybe?
A dotted white line in the center. What does he mean?
Maybe he's asking about...
Is it the
are you
back
asking
of the
about
watch? You had the picture of the back of the watch for a second ago.
Let me
Is there
see if I
something
can
like that?
pull that up here. I think it maybe you're referring to the white line that's between the numerals on the dial.
What? The numerals on the dial. Maybe he's talking about that white line between 0 and 5, and 1 and 0. So he's not writing 60 or 05. He divides those numbers.
Yeah, it's not a dotted line. It looks like a solid line.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 25 is a little off for me.
So 25 is smaller, right? Because he does this thing where at the 5 and 11.
Look, OC, you and I, we are fighting every time over a spectacular watch, and you find some flaws. And so I don't care about those lines between.
No, I don't. I actually like them. Actually, I don't mind them at all. I actually like them.
At the end of the day, you're buying a spectacular watch with a spectacular finishing. Just have a look at those spokes. Those are also with beveled anglage, the spokes of the wheels that you see here. Then those bridges, the spokes are are rounded; they are not flat. So everything is top notch. Have a look at that hour hand; it has an internal angle in that circular part. So there is so much detail and dedication that goes into that watch. It's just spectacular.
Yeah, and actually, Simon Brette does a 0.5. Sorry, Jonathan, but Longa doesn't do it. Simon Brette
Okay,
does.
yeah.
Yeah. The Cubitus has it. The Richard Mille has it, and the Ingenieur has it. Everyone is following my advice except for Longa.
You know, the Germans are different.
They're a pain in the ass. That's what they are.
Thank you very much for the flowers.
So here's the 0.5 here, which if that were just a 5 there, that would bother me. It really would.
Well, if that bothers you, you're not the right person for this watch.
True.
So just a quick follow-up question. What so you said that you put down how much you want to do as a deposit?
Yes.
So you could do 100%?
No, the question is how much would you be willing to put down? And I think you have the choice between 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100%.
Okay, so he will take 100%.
No.
Is 92? Was it 92,000?
As far as I know, when you get the allocation, probably you do a down payment, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pay full.
No, he's asking you can if you want to.
Right, if you want to.
Yeah, of course you can.
But only after you get the allocation. So on the form, you say you indicate the level of deposit you'd be willing to give.
Yes.
But he doesn't ask you for that until you've been selected for a watch.
I'm not even sure when they ask you how much for a deposit. I've never talked to someone who went through the process, so I can't tell you how much deposit they're actually asking.
John D filled out the form this morning, and he says there's 10 simple questions, and the options were on his particular form 25 or 50 for him.
That's how I remember him.
Okay, there you go. Good. Thank you.
I think there was also 75, but maybe I'm making this up.
Probably. Okay. I mean, you've been known to make up stuff.
Yeah.
Is there a concern with these guys? So Simon Brette isn't the watchmaker, right? He has a team. With some of these independent brands that are not done by the watchmaker, is there a concern at all that with increasing the number of watches, they need to increase their staff and might not have the same quality coming out of the workshop?
I wouldn't be worried because the increase we're talking now, so far he made 12 per year. Now the plan is to make 50 per year. Pretty sure his sources have increased their capacities because everybody is crazy now about that watch. Everybody wants one. I would like to know how many dedicated interested people he has, but probably he has thousands of them. So I'm pretty sure Simon Brette knows his shit. From this watch, everybody can see that, and I'm pretty sure he makes sure that he's not overselling and he's not compromising on quality. I mean, Hodinky is making a stretch. Compare him with Recep Recepi. I think that's a little bit of a stretch,
right.
But Recep Recepi couldn't afford to dump down on the quality, and I think Simon Brette could not afford to do that as well. So I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah, I guess it's just a question I had. It's not a concern necessarily, but when you're going into one of these independent brands and you're saying, especially in his case, he is not the watchmaker, right? So
I think that's actually a good sign that he's not the watchmaker, because we know those little watchmakers that make a
Right.
fantastic watch,
Yeah.
but probably they're getting bored by making the same watch over and over again.
Right.
They're bad businessmen. They
Yeah.
are bad in keeping timelines, and so on. So I
And
personally,
they're not good with people. They're not good
Right.
with people.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so
Right.
they're not
It's a bad
watch
mix, yeah.
they're not entrepreneurs. They're not watch
They're machine
industry
monkeys,
business
yeah.
owners. Yeah.
Right.
So Boston, you were posting in the comments that Simon Brette behaved badly in the
I was
sector.
joking. I was joking. That was a joke.
That was
I
a
was just
joke.
saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying what happened to FP Journe.
Because
But I just said Simon Brette was doing that. I was joking.
I could not imagine that he would be like
No,
that.
he seems to be a nice guy.
It's German sense of humor, Boston.
Yeah.
He doesn't get it. But yeah, a little bit of sarcasm there.
No, we're
This
just
is, I love this style. I love the design that he came up with. He took a traditional. I'm talking about Resheppi now, a very traditional dress watch, and he just put a twist on it by not having all the Roman numerals there, and then doing that little thing with the cut in and cut out with that.
You like the
line.
missing tooth design, yeah?
Yep, it just somehow it works for me. You combine that with the small seconds at the bottom. Okay, you can look. The hands are a little weird, but I like the fact that one of them is really, really long and goes all the way out to the minute track like that.
I mean,
kind
you
of
can
neat.
see from the hands that they're handmade.
I can't because I don't know anything about watches. I've only been in the hobby for like 4 or 5 months. But someone like you can tell.
Yeah, I'm happy to educate you on that. So, what is your opinion about Ben Clymer's watch? He
What
scored
about Ben?
apparently a Resheppi, and I'm pretty sure he has a Simon Brette as well.
Yep. Yeah, they're beautiful.
So
He has
so
he
Ben
has
Clymer,
he has the jewel one, right? That OC, the one you liked. He has that one. Yeah. I think the other thing is with these, it's kind of a try to get in there first mentality by collectors for these brands, because look at the Simon Brette. How many made it first? 12, and it's at 50,000. Now he's making 50, and they're at 92, 93,000. Like the third batch is going to be 150,000 and 100 watches. Like the earlier you get into some of these brands, the more rare and exclusive it is.
yeah,
And
but
that's kind of created this race with some of these smaller.
that is a normal evolution, I would say. I mean, you can do the math yourself. Okay, I think the first one, Simon Brette, was like $60,000. Multiply that by 12, and you know what annual budget he's working on in the first year. It's not
nothing.
really much.
No.
Yeah, but it wasn't a point about natural evolution.
Yeah, but nobody can run a serious business on those numbers. So of course you have to increase in numbers and probably in price.
Yeah. It's not a dig at Simon Brette. It's a normal evolution, but what it causes is, you see it in the independent watch space. You have people going to these very small people that are like a Simon Brette with 12 watches, 10 watches, whatever they're making for the year, and they're, hey, I'll buy this and I'll buy that and I'll buy this, and hopefully that becomes, the early watch of this new watchmaker, and it kind of, it's the Rejep or the early FP Journe model where people bought these watches early and now they're worth tons of money, because they were much more rare back then. They made so few at the beginning. So I think that there's this kind of collector race to find the next thing
totally
early.
I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody who got rejected by FP Journe or probably has had the privilege to get allocated one, of course everybody is looking for the next hot shit. And when I was at Resheppi, they told me they're spending more time in finding the right people for their watches than actually working on those watches.
Right.
And they're not stupid. They know exactly what's happening. and
Right.
they want collectors who wear those watches,
Right.
and not put them on Phillips then a couple
Right.
of months later.
Right.
And
Yeah,
they've done a
it's-
pretty darn good job
Yeah.
because you don't see very many of these floating around in
Yes.
secondary. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Same with Simon Brette. But I mean, you sell 12 watches, you're going to know who the 12 people are. If one of them
Right.
sells, you're going to,
You'll know.
they're going to out themselves pretty quickly.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Recep Recepi knows probably everybody who
Yeah.
received a watch from him.
Yeah, he's very small numbers too. It's like, I think it was 50 of each, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's
So Ben
it's a
Kleimer-
dangerous game though these guys are playing, in terms of dangerous in that, like you said, a lot of these small independent watchmakers are not very good on time, not very good on, delivery windows, not good on responding to emails or, calls or anything else. And, you put a fairly high deposit down and who knows what happens to these guys, It's a concern, like, if it's a $100,000 watch, you put 50,000 down and then,
Yeah.
heaven forbid somebody has a medical emergency and like
Their sense of urgency is worse than a plumber with a plumbing emergency.
right.
Once they have your
on
money,
the other
they
hand,
forgot.
on the other hand, I understand those watch companies that they're asking for a deposit because they have to
they
buy
need the-
stuff that
they need the stock
get
and
their-
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just that example of Simon Brette, I mean, 12 watches, each 60 or 70,000 is not really a lot. I mean, you can't even hire a secretary for on that budget.
Right. Yeah. Now, do you think that all these independents have not taken advantage or had the advantage now of collectors kind of seeking them out and putting substantial money down for their watches early on so that they can kind of start up, right? Do you think that these watchmakers, with all of the options of independent watchmakers, are putting at least a dent in some of the other brands like JLC, Breguet, Vacheron, maybe not so much Patek, just because Patek is so big, but some of those traditional style watch brands? Do you think that they're feeling a little bit of like collectors are kind of heading towards these independents instead of them?
Oh, I don't think that's happening. First of all, to understand those watches, you have to know a little bit about watchmaking. And I'm pretty sure when somebody is getting a Recep Recepi allocated or Simon Brette, he knows what Vacheron offers. Vacheron could never supply with the movement finishing, with those crazy intrinsic details like Recep Recepi or Simon Brette. That is something totally different. It is, you're asking the question, is Koenigsegg or Pagani taking away business from Porsche?
Yeah, I mean, I think you take a collector and you say, his budget is 100,000 a year, and he starts getting into these independents and away from a Vacheron or a Breguet or a JLC, because he knows, hey, I can always get those, but these are allocation pieces and I'll put my name in. And do you think that is, I don't think it's going to take away all of their business, obviously, because of the size. Independent watchmakers don't make that many watches or quickly. But do you think it's kind of hurting their brand's future because they kind of are having more trouble capturing the attention of the high-end collectors?
Like I said, I doubt that. If you compare what those, so we're talking now about high-end watchmaker like Raoul Pagès or Simon Brette or Recep Recepi. The only thing that is widely comparable is the handcraft section from Patek Philippe, but that is not about super high-end watchmaking. That is more about handcrafts. Same with Vacheron. But those people are flying out, so they can sell more than they're producing. So I would say that they're not taking anything from the traditional watchmakers, because the traditional watchmakers cannot offer such a movement finishing on their scale. So it's not comparable. And the only thing that they could compete is rare handcrafts, and rare handcrafts, Patek has no problems selling them anyhow.
Yeah, so you think that they'll buy both regardless? You don't see it as a problem for them.
No,
competing in
I
the
see
future.
I see a problem, and you're hinting that, in my opinion, there are too many independent watchmakers out there, some with hideous design, really awful design. OC very often criticizes them. They have fantastic watchmaking, but then the design of the watch is just showing the watchmaker made it himself or with some friends.
Right.
So I have my problems with those people, and I'm pretty sure not all the independents survive. But I can tell you, Recep or Simon Brette offer a quality in their work in the watchmaking. They will stay. They will not go. This is not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think Simon Brette and Recep are two that, and Raoul Paget, he's another one. I think those three have a really really nice aesthetic to their watches. I think they make beautiful watches, and I think they're potentially going to be able to push into the range of 1,000 watches that FP Journe makes now, but it'll take time. I think they have the makings of doing that. We'll see if they can actually do that, because there's some big hurdles to get to that number.
OC, can I bore your audience a little bit more with those concave details? If you
Whatever
see
you like. Sure.
If you have a look at the eyes of the minute, hour, and second hand, those are also concave.
Can I just throw out a question? I wanted to get somebody's opinion on this.
Hey, John, what's up? Welcome to the panel. Yeah.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. So on the questionnaire that they put out for Simon Brette, one of the questions was, how long are you willing to wait in order to receive your watch? Now, this is, I'm presuming you would pay the down payment ahead of time. And how long would be a good number? And they had the list of something like 1 to 8 years, I believe, was, at least on my questionnaire. So are you feeling like this is a good number? You put down a 50% deposit, and then you have the potential of being bypassed for multiple years worth of having your deposit sitting on next year's watch. So the one that they had listed, at least, I'm not sure if there's multiple pages, but next year's watch is going to be built out of steel. This year's was rose gold, or was it yellow gold?
Mm-hmm.
Rose gold.
So let's say I want the steel watch, and I put in my 50% deposit, and then I miss that year. It's a non-refundable item, so I don't get the 2025 allocation. I'm sitting there waiting with money on perhaps a model the following year, which is, I think the options were, which are your favorites? White gold, platinum, rose gold, steel, yellow gold. That was one of the questionnaires. So then I'd be stuck with the model of, maybe I don't want a white gold, and maybe I don't want platinum. I wanted a yellow, like the richness of rose gold or a yellow gold, or maybe I just wanted the robustness that comes with steel and not worry about. What do you feel if that company, or if any of these companies that are very young in their longevity, run out of steam on year 4 or 5, and you've got your deposit and still haven't gotten a watch?
So, as far as I understand, but for me, it's over a year ago that I filled out that form. But that wait time in years I would interpret as they give you an allocation. So they tell you, okay, you're in for the steel. And now you have to wait for 8 years because you have to agreed with that. But you have an allocation for a specific model. As far as I understand, Simon Brette, you're not getting an allocation without knowing exactly what you're getting.
I see. Okay. I mean, this model year or the 2025 model year was saying as a steel, and so I'm presuming many thousand people have put their name in the hat and filled out the questionnaire. And how many is it going to make? 150? I don't know how many he'll make, but
I think
it's a
it's
limited
50,
number.
right?
Oh, 50?
Yeah.
He was talking about 50 per year.
Well, I think he.
Like if you go to Vianney Halter will give you a menu, and they'll send
Yeah.
you the email that says, these are the prices. Would you like us to do whatever? You're essentially commissioning a watch through his shop.
Mm-hmm.
In this way,
Simon,
you're putting your
just
name.
jumping in. I think Simon Brette has already said though that he's only doing like 36 watches a year in 2025, right? So
wow.
and so I don't think they're going to be jumping to 100 watches. And they said they're hoping to add capacity to add 12 more watches per year over the next several years.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure what the number was. I
As
presume
far
it's
as I
it was
remember,
limited.
the Hodinky article was talking about 50 per year.
Yeah. But that could be across
right.
models, right?
But that could also be starting from
Right.
2026, maybe 2025. That he's only doing 36.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think he does say that he'll make. Well, he says that he's going to make 50 of these, but right now they said talking about their annual production. The annual production was like 36 pieces a year. Total production.
Yeah, it's an interesting questionnaire because, like, what do you put down for how long you'd wait and for how much you'd put down? Like, can you put down 100% in 1 year, or is it better to put,
Yeah, that was the
50% in 3
question.
years, or
That was the question that I was asking myself. Is that only for knowing how dedicated you are? So
Right.
you cross out, okay, I'm willing to pay down 100% today, and I'm willing to wait for 10 years. So
Right.
that would be the dream customer.
Yeah.
I was not sure if my replies would increase or would lower my chances to get an allocation.
Well, one of the other questions was, which other independent watches do you already own? So maybe there's also something to be said in that, where they say, "Wow, this guy is a competitor. We don't want people who are in that realm."
Right.
No, they want
quite the contrary.
Watches.
Quite the
they
contrary.
want people with independence.
From the independent watches that you bought, he will understand what a serious collector you are. I know from one person who applied for a micro artist studio, Grand Seiko. We're talking Grand Seiko here, and they said no because he didn't have a purchase history with Grand Seiko.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
I just got a message from a collector who has been allocated as Simon Brette. He says, and he gave me permission to share publicly, that they told him that they were going to be making 50 pieces in stainless steel and 50 pieces in platinum.
There you go.
There you go.
Did he tell you how much the deposit was?
No,
if any.
He didn't tell me exactly which model. He doesn't know exactly which model he's going to get either. He got confirmation that he will get a piece, but he doesn't know if it's going to be the stainless steel or the platinum. He doesn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure
I think,
you know
he
which model you're getting when you put the money down.
Yeah. He definitely wants people that have independent watches. FP Journe does the same thing. They want to know if you have other independents. A lot of the brands do that to try to allocate, because if somebody's
to me it would be a red flag actually if someone had Reshep, right? And like, in other words, like, this guy hops on the hype independent train. And
Well,
he
actually,
only
it's
wants
the
my watch
opposite.
because
Because
but
like look at AP allocation or Patek allocation or whatever. Like if you're signed off on by a brand, like in the independents, it's like if Regepi takes you, he has a strict screening process, so it kind of helps to screen that person ahead of time a
I'm
little
not
bit.
sure. I'm
You know,
not
like some
sure.
of he has partners with other watchmakers, you know,
Yeah.
and if he bought one of those, and then he can talk to them too and say, hey, so and so is asking for a piece. How's it been to work with them? You know, it's kind of like a resume.
I think if you had an ambient F or an Anderson Genève, that will help you more than if you tell him you're already on a Rechepi, to be honest, or de Bethune. Because they're trying to eliminate the hype collectors, and so if you say, okay, I have a Rechepi and FP Journe, I think your chances are getting lower.
Oh, so that was more of what the line of questioning I was getting to. When if you listed, let's say, 5 independent watchmakers, and then what is this done by a committee or, you know, Simon Brette himself? He may have a bias, just like you're saying. Hey, these are the hype collectors. This guy the only thing I see here are money chasing flippers. I'd be fearful of that. Or, you know, not me, but I'm just saying hypothetically, you could be like, wow, look at this. I see a pattern here, versus someone who's got, you know, a handful of extremely interesting things that you're probably not seeing them chasing the hype show.
Yeah.
I think that there's very few people, like for a Simon Brette, there's going to be very few people that are actually like a hype chaser, honestly, because the time frame for getting that piece, and like they're gonna look. So say this guy is just buying one of every independent watchmaker, okay, and he's like, I have this, I have a Royal Paget, I'm on the hunt for this, I'm on the hunt for that, I've got an FB Journes, I got this, and he's all independent. I don't think that they're going to turn that person away. They're going to say, this guy is into the independents, and you know, he's more likely to keep that watch than somebody that's like, oh, I've got, you know, 4 Rolex and 3 AP. And
well, you
4
also had to
Pateks.
write you know, I guess a statement of intent on this questionnaire.
Right.
So you just could list your independence, that's fine. But then there was a question as to sort of why should we give it to you?
Right.
And
And I
I'm guessing
this is good that he's doing that, and like I think, you know, some people are say that it's too much, but I think that, you know, these watches are kind of important pieces, and just like any artist, they can kind of choose, you know, at some level who gets that piece and who they commission it for. And
can I point to an event that happened, I think it was 2 years ago. And I don't know if you've watched this YouTube person, watches TV, I think that's what it's called, or something like
Yep.
that. But
Yeah.
Mark something to show, I think that's his name, Mark Andre. Either way, he had a dinner where he hosted all of these rising stars of watchmaking, and they all introduced themselves with, you know, all the wonderful things that they just created as a, you know, first project. And all of them said the same thing. They are getting so much attention from speculators that it's almost difficult to know which direction they should handle allocations. You've got people showing up saying, I'll give you 100% down right now, full cash. I don't even know what you're building, but I want the first of the next run, whatever that is, without an invite. You know, these are like cold callers trying to get in, like you were saying before, the next, I don't know, the next Akrivia or the next Rechepi or whoever's the next rising star before they even have their first model produced.
Right.
These might be interesting if you get a few people in the community grab one.
From my conversations, I know that those independents want the watches on the wrist and not in the safe.
Right, and that's it, you know, it could hurt you if you have a big collection, but also if you're a big independent guy and you know have 5 or 6 independents and you go to Watches and Wonders and Dubai Watch Week and you are in collectors meetings with independents and you're in the Journe Society and you're, you know, all these different clubs and things around these independent watchmakers. You go to Geneva a lot, like that's going to be a much stronger resume for him because now you're wearing that in those circles with other independent watch guys that are going to see that watch and want it too. So you're setting up your future allocation, you know, and all the brands are kind of doing that to some degree.
So from
real quick,
the,
just real quick from the Hodinkee article, it says that Simon Brette has 4,000 people on his mailing list with approximately 1,400 serious inquiries for allocations. When Brette ramps up to full production in 2026, he will make 48 watches per year, meaning it will take 29 years to fulfill all his potential orders. He's only making 50 watches in steel and 50 watches in platinum. All of the rose gold, I believe, is gone. Even the one that he announced today, all of those are gone already. So there you go.
Yeah, life sucks.
Yep.
It's hard out there. But that shows, you know, the demand just for independent watchmaking, you know. 1,500, the 1,500 sounds like a lot, but think about how many people, like that could grow a lot. And with him winning awards and having recognition like this, that number is going to continue to climb. It's just like FP Journe. I mean, FP Journe's selling 1,000 watches a year. If everybody that's bought an FP Journe is interested in a Simon Brette, it's going to be, you know, in the 10,000s, you know.
Gents, for me, it's bedtime. Nice talking to you.
All right, nice talking to you.
Yep. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers.
Thanks for tolerating me, and talk to you another time.
Well, it was hard, but we did it anyway. But thank you.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Have a good one, Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan Quill-Higgins from Germany. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah.
So John, what was it that made you today decide to?
You put your name in and you see. You know,
yeah, you'll see. I may never get anything because I'm not one of those, you know, multiple independent watch owners. So I
or
just
he might say, "Oh, this is your first independent watch. Great."
Well,
like I'm looking for that. You know, you never know.
I could be that. Maybe that person who's got just a few independents, not the big names, and then you get one. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they'll offer me, or maybe I won't. But I just thought it's interesting enough for me to be happy to own it without feeling, no matter what the price would be, that I would have to chase the resale.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't care about that. But I'd be very happy. Yeah. I thought it was. I mean, the dial itself is interesting to me, at least.
Yeah. John, who are we kidding? You're not getting this watch. I mean, no.
I know. You're right.
Come on.
Right.
I mean, he has a list of 1,400 serious people. Let's say that 10% let's say 10% are real. That's still 140 people who've already very serious inquiries. So
they've mailed the checks in already.
Yeah, I'd venture to guess it's like 90% real for this watch because it's so out there. You know, like you think nobody knows about FP Journe, like Simon Brette, like who knows that name, right? It's just and enough that they're going to put down 90K. Like if you make a serious inquiry, that means you really like nobody's playing around if it's a 90K watch. Why would you even put your name in?
Yeah.
Right. If you're not willing to pay that. So these are pretty serious people at 90K. Like, you know, like nobody's like, oh yeah, I'll put that on my credit card. Like, no, you have to like send a wire like this, and you're not flipping these watches. Like I think it would be really hard to even sell these watches because you need to have like a Phillips or someone like that willing to list that watch, and Simon Brette is going to be like putting up a stink saying, oh, you're trying to sell this watch now? Like maybe I won't service it.
It would be interesting. Have we seen any Simon Brettes come up in the auction? Was like one of the first ones that he came out with auctioned off?
I think one of these, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe maybe it was the only watch is when he came out with his watch, or there might have been one auction that was like for charity, but I don't know that, you know, they're so new. I mean, the guy's young, you know, really young.
The first time he came out with this was April 12th. That was for Watches and Wonders of last year, of 2023. Yeah, it was the first time that he
So it's
introduced
really
anything.
new. Yeah. And he's already got 1,400 just from 1 year, like not even a year, right? So he comes out with this watch. Now another group of people are going to inquire with this watch, and some of it's the configuration, whatever. But
Yeah,
it's tough
and
out there.
when he came out with this watch last year, he had already pre-sold 12, and that was his total production for the year.
Yeah.
It's very, very desirable, very in
Mhm.
demand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that just makes it worse, right? People see this article and it says 1,400 people. Oh, that means I want it too,
Yep.
right?
The upside trajectory on this is pretty steep,
Yeah.
so I would see that being an
Yep.
in-demand item, at least for the next bunch of years, until you see them, propagated at some of these like Red Bar events.
Yeah, it's going to be a while with the numbers, you know. Like they said, 29 years to get 1,400 watches out there, and 1,400 watches is like 1 year of FB Journe. Like it's not a lot of watches.
Right.
So you're not going to see. You might not outside of like a Watches and Wonders display. You might never see one of these in the wild ever.
Resheppi is cheaper than this, right? Or is it more expensive?
Yeah, no, it's cheaper.
It is.
Yeah,
they're like around under
60,000,
60,000, right?
Yeah, 60, 70, somewhere around there. 64, I think, was the last. But, you know, the thing about him that's good is that he's actually keeping the cost down for collectors, and he's kind of sticking to his quotes a little bit. He's not bumping the price up, because it's a good way to piss people off that have deposits. So, yeah.
Yep.
We'll see what this becomes. I mean, I think LVMH and some of these Chanel and other ones are starting to kind of have interest in these smaller brands, and let's pump a little bit of money in here and get a pretty good return by cash infusion.
You think? I mean, but adding brands to their portfolio isn't easy to do. I mean,
No.
I mean,
the good ones. You know, like FB Journe has Chanel, right? And so MB&F just signed with Chanel a portion.
Yeah, I think those are good underpinnings for longevity.
Yeah.
For all of those brands.
Yeah, it's just kind of like you have backup, right?
Yeah.
And also for collectors, it's a good thing because there's stability there. You know, you don't have somebody mismanaging their funds and all of a sudden, hey, you know, all those deposits, well, our machines broke and we weren't delivering them, and then people were pulling out and just leaving the deposit behind, and you know, we're not delivering watches, and people are, you know, talking bad about the brand, and you know, they can go south really fast. So you have to be careful.
Another good thing to note is look how much interest this tiny brand has sparked among collectors.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like there's still a really strong desire for interesting, limited edition, scarce pieces that are still done closer to the tiny artisan work rather than production line mass produced. Everybody chases, you know, the big king R, but this is more fascinating to me, at least. I would rather have this than a Platona or something else.
Yeah, I you know, I have a Patek that I like, dress watch, and I have the Code dress watch. some people don't say it's a dress watch, but
It's not a dress watch.
it is for me. It
Just
is
because
for
you
me.
put a
It's
suit
not
on
for-
it, you put a suit on it doesn't make it a dress watch.
I don't put a suit on, so it's a dress watch for me. but I think that I would gravitate towards an independent, because when I wear a dress watch, I want something interesting and unique to me, rather than just
Well, let's put
classical.
another category in the
So-
middle. There'd be like the classical dress watch, and then there'd be like your
right.
nice looking daily wearer, which is what your code might be falling into. And then you got sports stuff. This would probably be your daily wearing, non-traditional dress watch, but it would be a great piece of conversation.
For the Simon Brette.
Yeah,
I mean, this
Simone
would be
Brette.
very dressy for me.
What this Urwerk, whatever this is.
The Simon Brette.
Oh,
The
Simone Brette.
Urwerk is not. Urwerk is that's a sports watch.
I love
I tried
Boston
that on
Collectors.
actually.
Yeah, I love Boston Collectors category of called performance watches. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's
It's
the new category.
Richard Mille and this one, they kind of fall in that category. It's much more descriptive than sports watch to me.
I like
And
it. That's good.
And I think this one has just been Urwerk is a brand that's been just laughed at year after year after year, and now all of a sudden, it's just clicking. Is it? I'm not sure if it's the maturity of the collectors or it's people getting bored with Rolex and Patek or whatever, or they see other people buying this watch and going, "Oh, you know what? This is cool after all." But something's definitely happening where certain brands are falling off a cliff, reputation wise and credibility wise, and other brands seem to be either getting a second look or getting kind of a new vitalization. And Urwerk is one of them. There's no doubt. You look at this and you go, yeah, you know what? Why didn't I look at that 3 years ago and think that was I thought that was a crazy looking watch 3 years ago. Now it's like, you know what? What's wrong with it?
Oh, there's lots of animation on that dial. There's great theater.
Yeah.
I think they've really taken that wandering hours complication and moved it into something really modern and nice. Like, it's just if you like that style.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're, kind of in that performance area there, and I think that one thing that I had the pleasure of speaking with Urwerk recently, actually, and
Martin
one of the
Fry,
things-
who was in New York, yeah.
Martin, and one of the things that they said that they're focusing on is ergonomics, like how it wears on the wrist and stuff, because a lot of their pieces just were, focused on looking like a spaceship in the past, which is a lot of their inspiration. But like, I think that some of these are starting to kind of take on that wrapping around the wrist nicely and being comfortable to wear, and they're trying to move in that direction, which I think is a good direction, because I think that's one of the things that RM has really mastered, and they're super comfortable to wear. But I think that's a good look for the brand. I think the price points are still a little tough to swallow on these, but this is like 180, I think. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. But
what are these running on the secondary, if there are any?
This just came out, so.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if there are any models in a similar range, like, what are they taking a hit, or are they?
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those things where they keep it around the retail. I don't think they try to bump it up, but you're lucky if you lose 20% on it, I would say, is probably a safe estimate.
It's probably safe.
Something like that. Which on a high price tag still could be much, much worse, right? Might be less than some dress watches at 180. But
CB says they tank like the
things.
Titanic. Is that
Nice.
true? I mean,
Tank like the Titanic.
I
right?
don't think so. I think it depends on the model. Some of the harder to wear out there ones, tend to.
For watches that tank like the Titanic, you got to look at it from the viewpoint of collectors who plan to own, buying very low in the price. They're not looking to flip them. So if you're chasing the value retention item, maybe this isn't worth it. But if you really like this, and those wandering hours with the satellite rotating stuff is your jam, buy it at the bottom price that you can find it and just keep it. If it's your really favorite thing, I think that's a great price if it tanks.
Yeah. I mean, the hard part with any of these value retention, it's just a number. Like it's really like, okay, what's the direction of the brand and where is the market heading for that brand? Like, do you see this appealing, like a mass appeal to this? I still think no. I think it takes like a very eclectic collector that wants something kind of funky and something different. So
Yeah, this is definitely funky and different.
I mean, they make very limited quantities of all these watches too. They're like 120 watches a year, I think. So they're pretty low. So yeah, I think that's the they haven't quite nailed the mass appeal yet. But
maybe as you said, when they change the case design to be a bit more ergonomic and wrap around your wrist, you'll get more people saying, wow, it's really comfortable. You would be surprised.
Yeah. Definitely. So
I like the complication a lot. The star wheel history is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool how the block flips, the block rotates there.
Yeah, they have a really cool model that there's two blocks that flip and they come together to make the number, which is really neat. I think it's 120 model. But yeah. I gotta get going, guys. It's been good. It's been good chatting. Hope everybody enjoys their Monday.
It has been an amazing live stream. I want to thank everybody for watching. Before you go, I want to give you a link over to the 1916 company. They're doing a live stream with Tim Masso right now. So click on over there. If you go over there, please tell them you came from Original OC, that Original OC sent you. It's Watches Tonight, starring Tim Masso on the 1916 company channel. Again, please, if you do go over there, please let them know that OC sent you. And thanks for everybody in the chat tonight. And thanks for John D, Jonathan Gwell Higgins, Boston Collector, Diego, everybody jumping on the panel. Huge shout out to Gatsby, to Muhammad Ali, Mal, Journe Identity, Dodger, Rose, CB, everybody in the chat. Have a great, might be back later with a different show on the Watch Colony channel. Upvote the live stream, guys. Peace out. Have a great night. See you later.
Take care, guys.